Hey everybody, it is DDO Players, and we are privileged to be having a conversation with voice actress Allie Murphy today.
Hello.
How are you this fine? I guess it's evening for you. It's daytime for me. We had to play the time zone game.
Across the pond.
That's right. You are over in England, if you couldn't tell from the amazing accent that you have. But I do thank you for taking some time out to do this interview with us.
My pleasure.
So we're going to get started with the boring questions, and then we'll talk about your work that you did on DDO and Ravenloft. But you have like an interesting story on your journey to becoming a voice actress. Mm-hmm. I know you did work for an airline as a flight attendant for a while and then became a voice actress. So how in the world did that all come about?
I know, it all sounds a bit of a weird path, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Well, I was an actor when I was a teenager. I did theatre and Shakespeare and some dodgy British TV soaps and things when I was in my teens. And then I decided to give it all up and fly around the world for a living. And I did that for 14 years. So I was in the States for pretty much every week of my life for 14 years. And then about I tell you exactly how it started. This might be quite embarrassing for me, but about 4 or 5 years ago, what year is it? 6 years ago, I was a little heavy and I went on Weight Watchers, which I know you guys have in the States as well. And I lost a ton of weight. And the Weight Watchers people were like, we'd love to put you in a commercial. Would you do that? And I said, that sounds great. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I'll do that. So I did a Weight Watchers commercial in the UK, and I was doing a lot of voiceovers for that. So I was behind this microphone and speaking about, doing all these scripts about Weight Watchers. And I just remember thinking, this is amazing. This is I just want to be here. And it was bringing back my past of being an actor back to mind, and just how much I loved that performance side of things. So I started training and doing some voiceover coaching and some acting coaching again. And then in 2016, I left flying and became a full-time voice actor.
So what projects would you have worked on? I mean, other than DDO that our audience would know, what are some of the other projects you have done that we might have heard your voice and not realized it was actually you?
Ooh, interesting. I've done a couple of mobile games that you probably wouldn't know as me. I've been a few pirates in some mobile games, and I've done some virtual reality stuff. So if any of your players play any VR games, I play Bob in Dimension Hunters, a cheeky little drone kind of thing. And what would you call him? Yeah, cheeky little fella called Bob. I play him. I was the narrator in Tethered, and a few other games that are coming up next year. So, because I'm only really just over a year into my voice actor career, so a lot of the stuff that I've been doing this year that doesn't come out till next year. So there'll be a few more things coming up. DDO is definitely the best so far.
Yeah, and I can't wait to talk to you about that. And I know you have done some commercial work as well. So how do you think, as a voice actress, that doing like commercial voiceovers differs from doing like a character in a video game?
I think they can be quite similar. Obviously, you don't die as much or
well, I hope not. That would be a bad commercial then, right?
But a lot of it is just really believing in what you're talking about. So nobody wants to hear a commercial where you sound wooden or you sound like you're reading. So that's what a lot of the coaching is making that the words feel like they are just coming to your mind just there and then and chatting away. And then it's the same with the video game voice actors. You want real believable characters who your players are so immersed in the game they don't realize it's some British chick over the pond speaking. It's someone else who's part of that world.
So let's go ahead and jump into your work with Dungeons & Dragons Online and Ravenloft, which is the newest expansion for the game. You did some Dungeon Master work. You also voiced a sentient weapon.
Yeah, I did.
So let's talk about that. How did your work with Standing Stone Games and DDO come about?
It came about, I visited a voiceover conference in Atlanta in Georgia back in March of this year, and I got chatting to a few casting directors, and the casting director who works with Standing Stone Games was there, and I remember it was kind of late, it was after the conference and everybody was having drinks, and I was chatting to him and just being silly and a bit goofy and putting on all these accents for him. He was like, "Go on, what else can you do?" And I think I did a Southern Belle for him, and then I think I went into my Russian spy character that I have under my belt, and he remembered me. And then when the opportunity for the Ravenloft expansion came up, then he contacted me and he says, "I remember you did Russian." He says, "What can you do with this?" So that's how it came about.
And did you have any history with Dungeons and Dragons tabletop at all before this? Or was this like your first jump into Dungeons and Dragons?
No, a little bit when I was a kid. Actually, it was more, there was a really, really old computer game. I'm probably showing my age here because I think it was like the late 80s, early 90s. I played Dungeons and Dragons on one of the first computer games there. I loved that whole fantasy world. It was amazing. So I had a little bit of experience with it, nothing too detailed. So it was really interesting for me going back into it and finding out all this new stuff.
So how did you prep for your work that you did for the Ravenloft expansion?
I was given these great character descriptions and history, and that I could read over, and for all of the characters that I played, and I just kind of really went into their lives and think, how would I sound? Would I, you have to think about how would I look, which is hard when you're a sentient weapon. So you have to kind of think, how is this person? How does their throat look? How does their mouth look? Are they short? Are they tall? Are they big? Are they small? And all that sort of thing affects voices. So thinking of the voice that way, and then character-wise, are you a strong person? Are you at the end of your tether? There's a whole lot of stuff there. So I just kind of went over all those character choices, and then when it came to recording, spoke with the director about that, and we tried a few things out and found our characters.
So did you have a lot of freedom in what you did, or did they give you we're looking for this, and did you come back with, well, I was thinking more of, it would be like this, and did you kind of work that way?
Yeah, I guess so, kind of. It was with such great directors, the team at Standing Stone and the casting director who was there, the voice director, they were all on over the line chatting to me whilst we were coming through it. So it was a real sort of great response straight away. I would try something and I'd either get a thumbs up or let's try something different, or until we found the right way. But it felt quite natural and quick, and a really easy process because the team was so good with their direction that it wasn't really much of a battle to find the right people.
So how different was it for you to actually be able to voice a weapon? Was that something a little different for you that you've done for video games?
Yeah, I guess so now. Although last week I did play an AI, and I felt like it was almost kind of similar. In a different game, I played an AI, and I thought, oh, here we go. I think I was in an elevator or something as well. Yeah, it was a bit different for me because with it being a sentient weapon, it's a weapon, so it's a an object, but they have such personalities, and I knew that there was different varieties, and you needed to really stand out. So my sentient weapon was incredibly brave and courageous, and that was a lot of fun doing that. And it was just fun more than anything. It took a little while to wrap around my head, but once I got into it, it was fun more than anything.
And you also did, of course, some DM work for Two of the Quest. And I have to say, the Dungeon Master work you did in Death House was by far the best of the expansion, I think.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
You do the best creepy sounding little kid ever.
I love it. I did see that. I've been watching some playthroughs because I love watching people do the streaming, the live streaming, and I did watch one and I did hear my creepy ghost voice, and I thought, Oh, that was fun.
It is creepy as hell. I am telling you. I don't know where you got that voice from, but bravo, you nailed it.
Do you know what? Actually, I have done that voice. I did an audiobook. So this is where she came from. I did an audiobook of a little girl who was sort of trapped in a in-between world, and it was a very similar kind of thing with that. And that's what I thought with these kids. I thought they're trapped. You got to help them. But yeah, it's creepy.
Very much so. Very, very much so. And I know I've seen a lot of people comment on the DM work in Death House as well. So you nailed it.
Oh,
what
good to hear.
Was your favorite part of working on the Ravenloft expansion? I know that's kind of a loaded question. But
really, yeah, that is. There's been a few things. The first thing was I got to go visit Standing Stone Games earlier in the year in October, and I got to see some of the work that they'd already done in the creation of the world, and that was mind blowing to me. I think it's a really beautiful expansion, and the European setting is so kind of true to form for a lot of places in Europe. I think the team did an amazing job there. It was just absolutely gorgeous. So that part I really enjoyed. And then playing so many characters and trying to find different voices on that. So with Tatyana and Ireena being so similar, but finding their little extra bits that make them who they are. That was a lot of fun for me.
And I hope we will see you in the future doing more stuff with Standing Stone Games.
I hope so too. Absolutely.
Are you listening, Standing Stones? Get on that.
That was a big
Do something with her.
I'm over here. I'm waiting for you. No, the team there they're so nice, and it's such a great bunch of people. So yeah, it'd be great to work with them again.
And let's shift gears just a little bit. Yeah, you do other work, so I know it's kind of hard for you to say and answer this question. But do you have anything upcoming you can talk about or vaguely talk about, maybe?
Oh goodness! Do you know what? If this interview was maybe in a month's time, my computer just decided to make a noise. So I might be able to tell you something, but not quite yet. But there's some awesome games coming up next year that I've been very fortunate to be involved in. There's a great indie developer community in the UK, and I happen to live in one of the best parts of it. So I'm involved in about 4 games that I'm super excited about they're coming out next year, and so I'll be able to tell you more about them in a few months. But right now, I've signed things that mean I can't talk about them.
Exactly, those pesky NDAs.
I know. There's some virtual reality games and a couple of some incredible narrative games. One's a UK-based murder mystery that's quite exciting. That's about as much as I can tell you on one of them. But yeah, they'll come out soon, and I'll let you know.
I'm intrigued just from hearing that part. So, and do you have any advice for anybody that maybe is thinking, I want to do what you do. I want to become a voice actor.
Absolutely. I think best thing you can do is get yourself some acting training, whether that's in your local theatres. I know in the States they have some fantastic acting coaches. In fact, I've trained with a gentleman called Dave Fenoy, who's based out in LA, and I know he does online coaching as well. He does Skype coaching, and he's been in The Walking Dead and the Batman stuff. He's incredible, and there's some amazing coaches out there, and you can be coached via Skype. So get some coaching, brush up on your acting skills, and just play a lot of games because it's fun, and you can call it research and find a whole load of characters, and just have. It's the best. I'm very lucky. It's one of the best jobs you could ever ask for, as somebody who loves playing games as well, to be in those worlds. So have fun with what you do and make some contacts.
And I think my final question for you is going to be a trick question.
Okay.
And I know it's going to be a hard one for you to answer, but do you enjoy doing video games or doing commercials better?
Oh, that's an easy question. Video games. It's way more fun. You get to be 100 different people.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And even a weapon, as we've seen.
I know. What else did you ask for?
Or a creepy girl stuck in a house. Either way.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like in one game, I was about, really, with the DM stuff, about 8 different people. So.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Well, Allie, thank you so much for taking this time and talking with us.
Thank you so much for asking me. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.